All right, Shalom. First, let's start by saying our praise to Yahweh by Shemel Shai, by Shemel Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. Now, this is what's going on in the world right now. It says tropical storms and hurricane parade across the Atlantic and the Pacific, Bermuda, and the Pacific. It says Bermuda could get hit again. It says a Texas flood threat wanes as the Atlantic bakes up new activity. It says a slew of tropical cyclones is marching across the Atlantic and East Pacific basins. Right, the Lord got them angels out there busy because we are coming to an end of Esau's kingdom. You know, this is matter of fact, I'm gonna get that. Slovakia. This second Ezra chapter 6, verse 6, it says, Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other. It says, Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of the times? And when shall be the end of the first? And the beginning of it that followeth. Right. It says, verse 8, it says, And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the hill of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Right, and that's what you see going on right now. All these storms that's happening is a sign, that we are coming to the end of Esau society, man. And the prophets are out here to break this truth down to you. That's why when it says verse 8, it says, And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the hill of Esau. Right, and Jacob represented the 12 tribes of Israel, the men that's out there doing the work, is proclaiming that, Esau is coming down by way of bringing down his lies. Esau will have you believe that that's Mother Nature that's doing these storms. But ultimately, that's Yahweh Shemel Shai, because we're coming to an end of his society, man. It ain't the end of the world; it's the end of Esau's society, and the bringing in of Yahweh Shai's society. This is Psalms chapter 83, verse 15. So persecute them with thy tempest and make them afraid with thy storm. Right, and we've been having all types of hurricanes and storms happen this whole year, And by Jacob bringing down Esau's foundation, bringing down his lies, it's in the scriptures. We letting you know that the Lord is doing that, not no Mother Nature, man. But and that's a sign that marks the end of his society. So, but all right, I'm gonna continue reading. It says, it's a time of full-fledged tropical fury, with 4 named tropical cyclones in 3 areas to watch between the Atlantic and the East Pacific Ocean basins, as the tropical rainstorm spurred by Imelda's remnants finally starts to taper in Texas. It says Bermuda eyes its second hurricane threat in 10 days. Meanwhile, additional waves shedding off the coast of Africa are likely to develop into cyclones within the coming week. Right, and I guess those are storms that's been happening. I'm gonna look it up real quick because I didn't get a chance to look these up. It says all right, Slakia. 1 second. Right here. So not only did the Bahamas get hit with a storm.
Storm-ravaged southeast Texas is reeling from days of relentless rain and dramatic flooding not seen since Hurricane Harvey. Remnants of Tropical Storm Imelda caused widespread devastation in the region. At least 2 deaths are blamed on the storm. Crews performed more than 1,000 water rescues, and the effort continues. A disaster has been declared in 13 counties. Imelda ranks among the biggest rainmakers in Texas history. Some areas got upwards of 5 feet. This right now is a live look at Winnie, Texas, where the water has overrun some neighborhoods. Janet Chamberlain is reporting on the devastation just northeast of there in hard-hit Beaumont.
Right, it's like for stopping this so far away, but notice how they keep saying record breaking. You know, that's how you know this is prophecy, man. This is the Lord at work right here, man.
Tropical Depression Imelda unleashed its wrath on southeast.
That's why the scriptures say, it's like, let me get this precept. Isaiah chapter 55, verse 6. Seek ye the Lord Yahweh while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Right, and how do you seek the Lord? By coming back to the statutes, laws, and commandments. You know, you got to come back to the Bible. But you have to be taught by the prophets that the Lord got set up. That's out there teaching, man. You know, the men of GMS. You know, and there's probably other brothers out there that's teaching the truth also, that's coming in the spirit of GMS. In which they, you know, they will be spiritually GMS, you know. But this is verse 7. Let the wicked forsake his way. And that's talking about the Israelites. And the unrighteous man his thoughts. And, you know, a lot of them Latino tribes down in Texas. And let him return unto the Lord Yahweh, and he will have mercy upon him. And to our power, for he will abundantly pardon. Right, man. So Jacob getting caught up in these storms and dying. You know, and there's more deaths than what they're saying. Esau always lying, man. You know, but that's why this world, this kingdom has to go. And that's why the Lord set his men up out there. You know, Yahweh is our way of the elect, is to bring out the truth of these events, why these events are happening, and what you can do to save yourself, man, or be caught up in this destruction and this devastation, man. You know, die an unhonorable death, you know, but eventually the Israelites that died on this side are going to be birthed in the kingdom, man. But you're going to have order in the kingdom. You're going to have the ones that fought for work, for the word. How about Shema Shai, man? Standing over those that died, you know, unhonorably, man. So, the scriptures call them the 2/3, man. You got a 2/3 and you got a 1/3.
hammering the region with pounding rain and flash flooding. The devastation reminiscent of some of the worst storms in U.S. history.
I think it was a lot worse than what kind of the general public had anticipated.
In Beaumont, Coast Guard helicopters airlifted patients to safety one by one after they were caught in the rising floodwaters. In Houston, stranded drivers and their children wearing life vests were pulled to higher ground.
The fact that there's cars stranded and people are getting high water rescued, that's never happened in our time that we've lived here, even after having.
Man, we gotta go!
Even Houston's police chief, Art Acevedo, joined rescue teams, wading through chest-high water, urging homeowners to evacuate. Police and fire teams relied on good-hearted citizens, helping others escape danger. This tractor-trailer driver steered onto a flooded street, his truck cab filling with water up to the windshield. People nearby jumped on top of the truck, using a rope and hammer to save the man's life until officers could pull him to safety.
There was a car over there in the bayou over there.
Just north of Houston in the Aldine area,
So I ran and I tripped, but I got back up and I dived into the water.
high school football player Jaden Payne jumped into a car to help save a woman and her toddler after she drove her SUV into a ditch with about 15 feet of water.
I put her on the side of the grass and she put her baby on the grass. She just told me, she's like, you're my guardian angel.
There were many guardian angels in this area over the last 36 hours, volunteers stepping in when those official resources were just too overwhelmed. This morning, hundreds of schools throughout this area are closed today, and it's a long way from business as usual. While the rains have slowed, there is more rain in the forecast for today. Michelle?
Not good news. Janet, thank you.
All right, now I'm going to bring out a couple precepts real quick. This is Proverbs chapter 20, verse 24. It says, man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? Right, so, the Lord had that young boy jump up in there and save them. Jesus isn't saving anybody. Allah isn't saving anybody. The Lord saves people, man. The Lord determines who dies in these storms and who doesn't. Just to get that BS up out of people's minds, man. Yahweh Shai, to be politically correct, is the ones who saving and just killing, This is Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 39. It says, see now that I am he, and there is no God with me. Right, so there's no God with the Lord, man. All these deities that Israel worshiping is pagan idols that cannot walk nor move. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. Right, when it's time for you to die, it's time for you to die. That scripture right there sums up what these people are going through over there in Texas, man. So, we'll get back to the article. And that's I'm gonna start back at the top. It says it's a time of full-fledged tropical fury with 4 named tropical cyclones and three areas to watch between the Atlantic and East Pacific Ocean basins, as the tropical rainstorm spurred by Imelda's remnants finally starts to taper in Texas. Bermuda Texas Bermuda eyes its second hurricane threat in 10 days. It says, meanwhile, additional waves shedding off the coast of Africa are likely to develop into cyclones within the coming week. It says, we begin along the Gulf Coast, where the remnants of Imelda have dropped up to 43.4 inches, which is 4 feet, of rain. The bull's eye of most extreme rain totals with this latest disaster largely overlaps with the area hardest hit by Harvey in 2017. It says the one-two punch devastating Billagred's residents. It says officially, Imelda's Imelda goes down in the books as the fifth wettest named tropical system of record in the contiguous United States. Right, man. And you can expect more of this. It says Texas Golden Triangle region also saw more than 3 feet of rain with Tropical Storm Allison in 2001 and more than a foot with Claudette in 1979. It says across the Atlantic, Jerry has maintained hurricane strength. Its center is about 350 miles east of the Lesser Antilles, and though its track will take it well north of the Leeward Islands, heavy rainfall and rip currents remain possible. It says Jerry will arc northwestward before an abrupt northeasterly turn, potentially taking its center of circulation close to over Bermuda on Tuesday or Wednesday. See, this comes less than a week after Category 3 Humberto's eyewall nicked Bermuda's northern fringe Wednesday night, bringing winds gusting over 130 miles per hour. Bermuda's 11-mile-long island is a minuscule but well-placed target for hurricanes. Alright, it says significant damage in Bermuda tonight coming from a local sharing with us, Royal Caribbean, sending love and prayers your way, Bermuda. It says, let's hope Jerry can curb sooner and spare the beautiful island. One of my absolute favorites in the world. Okay, give me 1 second. All right, this is on hurricane that hit Bermuda. It says Hurricane Humberto knocked out the power for some 80% of Bermuda's electricity customers, but many of them now have power again. And the government official says they're relieved no one died when the Category 3 storm passed close to the island on Wednesday night. Let's see if I can find the article.
Welcome. This is Nasreen Sheikh and you're watching It's Tomorrow News. Hurricane Humberto lashes Bermuda 80% of island without power. Hurricane Humberto's core has passed its closest point of approach to Bermuda, but its strong hurricane force winds will continue whipping the island well into Thursday morning. More than 27,900 customers, 80% of the territory was left in the dark in the wake of the storm, officials said. The company was in an emergency state as rain and strong winds continued to lash the island, the company's website said. Late Wednesday night, the Category 3 storm was packing sustained winds of 120 miles per hour. The storm's strong winds extended 80 miles outward from its center as it churned about 75 miles north of Bermuda. Southern coastal parts of the island are under flood threat through Thursday from the storm surge and dangerous breaking waves, the Hurricane Center said. A bio measured a wave of more than 30 feet Wednesday, it said. Humberto could dump up to 6 inches of rain by Thursday in some spots, forecast said. Humberto picked up even more speed Wednesday afternoon, moving at 23 miles per hour as its maximum sustained winds had steady at 120 miles per hour. The storm was about 130 miles northeast of Bermuda at the 11 p.m. update. Large swells will also continue to increase into tomorrow, the Hurricane Center said. Swells will continue to aftercat the northwestern Bahamas and the southeastern coast of the United States from east central Florida to North Carolina during the next couple of days, the center said. The swells could cause life-threatening and deep current condition. It said Humberto is one of the 3 storms drawing attention in the Atlantic basin. Imelda is a tropical depression has rescue teams on alert as it threatens to dump the most rain since Hurricane Harvey of eastern Texas, and Tropical Storm Jerry, still far east of Rabault Island, could strengthen into a hurricane by week's end. The rush of activity comes as the Atlantic hurricane season reaches its statistical peak in the week surrounding September 10, a period when weather conditions favor storm forming quickly. Humberto is the second major Atlantic hurricane. The Atlantic Ocean paradise rarely see a storm this big and powerful. Only 21 hurricanes have passed within 100 miles of Bermuda over the past century, with Hurricane Gonzalo in 2014 the last to make landfall there. Meteorologists are keeping track of 2 other developed systems, Tropical Depression Imelda, which struck southeast Texas and weakened from Tropical Storm, and Tropical Storm Jerry in the Atlantic, which is expected to become a hurricane by Thursday. That's all for now. For more news updates, stay tuned with us. It's Tomorrow News, Nasreen Sheikh. For more weather updates, please like, share, and subscribe.
All right, that's what's going on with hurricane that hit Bermuda. It says Bermuda has suffered 3 direct landfalls and numerous side swipes in just the past 5 years, making it perhaps the most hurricane-prone community in the Atlantic. It says that may seem surprisingly, but the reason most don't know this is because Bermuda's placement well outside the tropics has always spared it from Category 4 and 5 hurricanes, which are the strongest. It says Jerry will peter along at current intensity as Category 1 or 2 hurricane for the next several days, likely remaining at hurricane strength until just after it passes Bermuda. All right, it says in addition to Jerry, several tropical waves are being monitored for potential development. It says two of them look marginal. One is just southwest of Hispaniola. The other is about 1,000 miles east of the Lesser Antilles. They have a 10% and 30% chance of developing respectively. It says, however, a third African easterly wave looks a little more interesting. It's about 300 miles inland in Africa, centered over the border between Guinea and southwest Mali. It says it's extremely unusual for the National Hurricane Center to outlook an area this early before it's even moved off the coast. And not only is it highlighted, it's been dubbed likely to develop. It says the National Hurricane Center gives it a 70% shot of doing so within 5 days. It says signs point to this robust wave developing southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands and quickly growing into a hurricane. With little inhibition, it could become a major hurricane. However, all computer models keep it out to sea. Recurving northward over the middle of the Atlantic for the time being, it looks as though no land masses are to be impacted, but it bears watching. If it's named, Karen is up next. There will also be 2 other tropical waves that exit the African coast by the end of the month. While neither has developed yet, both systems as modeled could be ones to watch. Right. Let me see. It said elsewhere, the Eastern Pacific is crammed with a dizzying dance of twirling tropical cyclones. The Rena and minimal hurricane. A minimal hurricane is at the tip of the Baja Peninsula, drifting west as a Category 1 storm 400 miles south and paralleling it is Tropical Storm Mario, and midway between Mexico and Hawaii spins Tropical Storm Kiko, for which no land masses are in play. Right, so that's what's going on with all these tropical storms, man. This is all they're doing to Yahweh Shema Shai, you know. So, you know, with that being said, all praise to Yahweh Shema Shai. Double honors to the elders and apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. Shalom.